This is the Microschool Minute, your weekly dose of microschooling news and events.
In this week's edition, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem has proposed a $4 million initiative to create education savings accounts, granting low-income families $3,000 annually per student for private or alternative schooling. While Governor Noem insists this plan will prioritize education without impacting public school funding, critics highlight potential risks such as inadequate oversight and diversion of funds from public schools. Chris Carr, incoming Senate pro tempore, emphasized the need for careful implementation, stating, "We have to figure out how to implement this responsibly." The South Dakota Education Association also raised concerns about the lack of standardized testing and anti-discrimination policies in alternative education providers. The proposal mirrors a national trend in education reform, but faces significant financial feasibility challenges due to the state's limited tax revenue. While school choice remains a divisive issue with no clear consensus on expanding it through universal ESAs, public education funding and teacher support continue to dominate legislative priorities. Mississippi lawmakers will address several key issues in the upcoming 2025 session, particularly focusing on school choice, education funding, and teacher pay. The debate over school choice is central, with proponents advocating for policies like educational savings accounts to expand options for private schooling. Critics argue that such measures divert vital funds from public schools, which remain underfunded and are crucial to the community. The Mississippi school funding formula has been fully funded this year with a $230 million increase, totaling nearly $3 billion in educational spending. However, lawmakers project a need for an additional $50 million to fully fund it again in 2025. The state's education system is also grappling with teacher pay and retention issues. Despite a historic 2022 teacher pay raise, inflation and rising health insurance premiums have eroded its effectiveness, prompting discussions on further increases, especially for areas facing teacher shortages such as math, science, and special education. The Iowa Revenue Estimating Conference projected a $600 million decrease in state revenues for the current fiscal year. The primary cause are the significant tax cuts implemented over the recent years, with the most notable reduction being a gradual lowering of both individual and corporate tax rates. As a result, Iowa's budget for the 2025 fiscal year is set at $8.64 billion, approximately 99% of the REC's estimate. While state leaders, including Governor Kim Reynolds, remain optimistic about the economic outlook, legislative Democrats have expressed concern over the impact on funding for public services, especially with new educational initiatives like the private school voucher program set to expand. In response, State Budget Director Craig Paulson assured that there would not be a need for cuts, citing full reserve funds and a strong balance sheet. Additionally, Iowa's tax code is undergoing further cuts, with a flat income tax rate of 3.8% for all taxpayers taking effect next year. National School Choice Week 2025 will feature over 67 flagship events across 39 states, promoting awareness of educational options such as public, charter, private, home, and microschooling. National School Choice Week's Lauren Forte this week emphasized its mission to empower families and celebrate diverse educational pathways, describing the initiative as a unique public awareness effort, empowering families to explore the exciting world of school choice. These events foster collaboration between schools and communities, highlighting achievements and encouraging parental involvement in educational decisions. South by Southwest EDU 2025 has made its first major announcement, featuring an inspiring keynote by Emily Calandrelli, TV host of The Space Gal and the 100th Woman in Space. Calandrelli will highlight the crucial need for greater representation of women in STEM fields. She'll explore how the lack of female role models in scientific media has hindered the recruitment of women into STEM careers, emphasizing that representation is essential for tackling global challenges. In addition to the keynote, 3 feature sessions have been unveiled, each led by notable thought leaders aiming to advance education through community-focused initiatives. Manu Kapoor, professor of learning sciences at ETH Zurich, will discuss productive failure, a concept that leverages intentional failure as a tool for deep learning and creativity. Nadim Mata and Rafael Parente will lead a session on unleashing student agency, addressing how global education systems can enhance student agency to better serve marginalized groups. The event will also feature a wide range of new programming and mentorship opportunities. This includes one-on-one mentor sessions, roundtable discussions, and over 50 new sessions across diverse topics, and more. The Mentor program offers a chance to connect with experts in education, providing invaluable guidance for personal and professional growth. Moreover, South by Southwest is introducing exciting networking events like coffee breaks, hiking tours, and pop-up dinners, ensuring ample opportunity for participants to engage with like-minded peers in an informal setting. The event is set to take place from March 3rd through the 6th, 2025 in downtown Austin, Texas, with early registration and hotel bookings now open for attendees eager to secure their spot. Just in time for the holiday, Learning Quest Holiday Giveaway offers 3 Oklahoma families $529 towards their 529 educational savings accounts, emphasizing the importance of financial planning for education. Managed by American Century Investment Management and overseen by the Kansas State Treasurer, the initiative aims to encourage families to invest in their children's futures. The newly revamped free application for federal student aid, better known as FAFSA, simplifies financial aid applications, reducing questions, and improving IRS data integration. Key updates include replacing the expected family contribution with the Student Aid Index to increase equity and expanding Pell Grant eligibility to benefit over 1 million additional students. Education Secretary Miguel Cardona highlighted the importance of these changes, stating, "Education is a key driver of opportunity. Challenges persist in implementing new technology and raising awareness, but the reforms mark a significant step toward making higher education more accessible." In Missouri, homeschooling has surged, now accounting for 1 in 16 school-age children. This trend, driven by a preference for personalized education and remote work flexibility, reflects a lasting change in the state's educational landscape. Despite the absence of registration requirements, further complicating data collection, researchers note that homeschooling rates have stabilized post-pandemic, highlighting its growing role in educational choice. Despite significant legislative advancement in school choice, awareness among parents remains alarmingly low. A new survey by EdChoice found that many parents could not identify whether their state offers programs like open enrollment, charter schools, microschools, or educational savings accounts. For instance, only 25% of parents in ESA states were aware of these options. This lack of awareness contributes to low participation in programs that could otherwise broaden educational opportunities. Word of mouth remains the primary way families learn about school choice, but misinformation and bureaucratic complexities deter participation. EdChoice's findings underscore the need for states to overcome these marketing hurdles and ensure that families have the knowledge necessary to make informed educational choices. Recent school choice referenda in Nebraska, Kentucky, and Colorado resulted in decisive defeats, prompting reflection among advocates. Despite school choice's recent legislative momentum, these setbacks reveal a disconnect between policymakers and voters. For example, while Kentucky overwhelmingly supported Donald Trump in the 2024 election, it rejected a school choice constitutional amendment by over 30 points. Critics attribute these losses to poor messaging, emphasizing abstract market ideals over practical benefits for families. Rick Hess argues school choice advocates must recalibrate their approach, focusing on local coalitions and family-centric messaging to regain traction. The defeats signal the need for strategic adjustments in school choice advocacy, particularly in states where public school loyalty remains strong, despite dissatisfaction with broader educational policies. Moody's has issued a new negative outlook for K-12 public schools in 2025. The report highlighted several challenges. Key factors influencing this outlook include slowing revenue growth, rising staffing costs, and pressures from declining student enrollment. The expiration of federal COVID-19 emergency aid, particularly the elementary and secondary school emergency relief funds, is expected to strain school budgets further. Moody's anticipates a drop in the median operating fund balance ratio from 26% in 2024 to 24% in 2025, with public education employment exceeding pre-pandemic levels and compensation growth outpacing the private sector. Lower enrollment in traditional public schools, caused by declining birth rates and increased competition from charter and private schools, further exacerbates budgetary pressures, especially as per-pupil funding declines. Furthermore, the increasing number of students with disabilities requiring specialized services places additional financial strain on traditional public schools, which serve a higher proportion of these students compared to charter schools. In contrast, Moody's gave charter schools a stable outlook, predicting modest funding increases driven by enrollment growth. However, charter schools will face challenges such as flat state funding, higher interest rates, and inflation pressures that could hinder capital projects. Despite these pressures, charter schools' financial flexibility is expected to support stable performance, and the report concludes by acknowledging that while many districts will make operational adjustments in response to these challenges, it may take several years to fully implement necessary changes. Arizona's empowerment scholarship accounts have expanded rapidly, serving over 50,000 students at a cost of $400 million annually. Critics argue the program disproportionately benefits affluent families and strains public educational funding, while supporters highlight its flexibility and parental choice. Save Our Schools Arizona emphasize the need for stricter oversight to prevent misuse of funds. Georgia's new school voucher program has expanded rapidly, far beyond initial expectations due to an expansive interpretation of the law by the Georgia Education Savings Authority. Originally, the law was designed to offer educational savings accounts to students attending the lowest performing 25% of schools in the state. However, GESA extended the eligibility to all students living within the attendance zones of these underperforming schools, thus increasing the pool of potential voucher recipients from 22,000 to an estimated 400,000 students. This move has led to confusion and backlash among lawmakers who argue that the law was misinterpreted. House GOP leaders have voiced concerns, claiming that the law intended to target only students attending low-performing schools, not to those simply living within their zones. The law caps funding for the voucher program at 1% of Georgia's public school funding formula, or $144 million, which could cover around 22,000 vouchers. However, the expanded eligibility means that more than 400,000 students can now be eligible to apply. This dramatic increase in potential applicants has led to concerns about the program's sustainability and the possibility of overspending. Data from various interim assessments like NWEA's MAP Growth and Curriculum Associates iReady indicate minimal progress in math and slight declines in English language arts, signaling insufficient recovery from pandemic-era learning setbacks. Despite small gains, such as a 1-point increase in 8th grade math proficiency, experts caution that these improvements fall short of restoring pre-pandemic achievement levels. Variability across states complicate the outlook, with some states reporting progress attributed to lower standards. Senator Mike Round's proposed legislation to abolish the United States Department of Education reflects the goals of Project 2025 and aligns with President-elect Donald Trump's vision to redirect funds towards state-level control. Proponents argue the department is an abuse of taxpayer dollars, but critics warn the move could undermine public education by redirecting Title I funds and Pell Grants to private schools, or less targeted block grants. Eliminating the department would decentralize federal oversight, shifting responsibilities for student loans and other programs to agencies like the Treasury. However, experts such as Michael Fura caution against the complexity and cost of this dismantling, arguing leadership and other agencies won't have the same attentiveness to education initiatives. The proposal raises concerns about how it would disproportionately affect low-income and minority communities reliant upon federal educational support. In the recent article, Rumors of War, Jennifer Berkshire and Jack Schneider present a passionate argument about the existential threat posed by those aiming to dismantle public education in America. The authors highlight the forces behind the privatization movement, accusing them of prioritizing individual consumption over the collective good, favoring market-driven policies over educational equality. They argue that these, whom they deem radicals, seek to reverse decades of progress, pushing for a system that would marginalize students based on socioeconomic status and cultural background. Proponents of school choice argue that alternatives actually accomplish the opposite and have the potential to partner with public districts, helping to further solve pain points surrounding special populations, budget restraints, class sizes, as well as teacher shortages. The Biden-Harris administration's efforts to boost the Pell Grant program, such as the $900 increase for the 2024-2025 academic school year, highlight the positive impact of federal investment in education. This increase, which raises the maximum Pell Grant to $7,395, directly benefits millions of low and moderate income students, making higher education more affordable and more accessible. The ambitious goal of doubling the Pell Grant by 2029 would significantly alleviate financial pressures for students across the country. The National Microschooling Center sheds light on the growth and challenges faced by microschools in their early stages. According to its 2024 sector analysis, the typical microschool starts with a median enrollment of 9 students, which grows to 12 by the end of the first year and 16 over time. This growth reflects a steady increase in enrollment as these small, alternative schools gain traction. The center also emphasizes the difficulties faced by new microschool founders, especially in the first year when the student numbers can fluctuate. They advise that founders should prepare for potential mid-year transitions as many families leave traditional schools after the first semester. They recommend offering flexible enrollment options and improving marketing efforts to attract new students throughout the year. Their key takeaway is that while early growth can be slow and uncertain, microschools have the potential for sustained enrollment increases. With a strategic focus on word-of-mouth referrals, retention, and clear communication of their educational philosophy, microschool founders can overcome the initial hurdles and build a strong, lasting presence. A new program, Microschool Masters, offers a comprehensive professional development opportunity for educators running growth stage microschools. This program, akin to Masterclass, provides high-quality video courses taught by successful microschool founders and experts, designed to help educators scale their operations effectively. While each course includes implementation guides, resources, and the possibility of earning continuing educational credits. The aim is to support educators in building dynamic, visionary teams that align with the school's mission, focusing on recruiting educators who are passionate and dedicated to the microschool's core values. Think of it as your secret weapon for building a powerhouse team that's not just aligned with your vision, but obsessed with it, the program promises, targeting those who aspire to build smart, bold, and transformative educational environments. The Mastery Transcript Consortium schools are redefining education by replacing traditional metrics like GPAs and credit hours with competency-based evaluations and examples of student work. This approach prioritizes mastery over compliance, allowing students to showcase individualized learning experiences and holistic skills. To date, students from MTC schools have gained acceptance to 592 colleges without submitting conventional transcripts. Facing a $5 million budget deficit, the Roosevelt School District in South Phoenix, Arizona plans to close 5 schools by August 2025. Superintendent Danny Portillo cited low enrollment and expired federal COVID-19 aid as contributing factors. While the closures aim to streamline costs by merging schools, critics argue the decision's rush timeline lacked adequate community engagement, with 1,364 students set to be displaced. An opportunity now emerges for alternatives like microschools to fill this need in the community. ESA voucher programs, partially blamed for the budget shortfall, further complicate the educational discussion in Arizona. Parental involvement has become a cornerstone of effective education, with research consistently linking active enrollment to improve student outcomes. Meanwhile, one microschool has already helped to fill a need in their community. Today's Microschool Showcase goes out to Leora Hooper, who is redefining education in Yazoo City, Mississippi, by creating Abundance Academy, a private microschool in a repurposed storefront. Serving 50 students from pre-kindergarten through 12th grade, the school operates within public funding, offering tuition at $300 per month. Hooper's resourcefulness reflects her commitment to providing quality education in a resource-constrained environment. Parents increasingly view Abundance Academy as an alternative to underperforming public schools in the area, underscoring the growing role of community-driven education initiatives in addressing these disparities. If you know of a school that deserves a shout-out, drop a comment and let us know about the work they're doing. Thank you again for tuning in to the Microschool Minute, your weekly review of microschooling news and events. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you'd like to support us, consider leaving a review below. Until next time, remember, they may be called microschools, but they're making a big impact.